Welcome to the photo editing tutorial. In this photo edit tutorial, let me just explain that you can use either photos or videos. It's not exclusive to photos. Even if you want to use texts inside the photo frames, feel free to use it. Before I explain how to edit all the pictures in this, I'm just going to go through a basic how to create your own photo, because it's easy for me to explain how to create your own photo, so I don't have to explain these things further ahead. In the page elements, we have a photo frame folder here. I'm just going to click on anyone. You'll see we have different styles from A to I. So I'm just going to double click here so you can see what I mean. We have this Polaroid, which is the same for all of these. Excuse me. B is also a Polaroid. C is another Polaroid. D is another Polaroid. And E, it changes into landscape. Clean frame, and so on and so on. You can check these out. They don't look like much now because they don't have any pictures in them. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some pictures that I have here. Now I'm just going to grab a picture, this one, actually from my hometown. And okay, first I'm just going to show how to edit and mix up pictures, styles that you like. So this is basically what I did with the pictures. So you don't have to do this, but you have to understand what I did with the pictures, so that further ahead in this tutorial I'm going to explain things and you know how they happened. For the photo style, I'm just going to click one, and I'm just going to drag this picture. And this picture, in this case, I have to drag it on top of texture, of this texture that's here. And you see it's not scaled correctly. You can just click a corner and hold shift, so it constrains your proportions, and you can just scale it up. Keep in mind it has to be underneath all the stuff here and top of the texture, because if you put it on top, of course, and if you put it underneath, it cuts it out properly. Okay. And this applies for all the photo styles. I'm just going to go through a couple. Let me just go to G. Photo style G. I've mixed up some of the stuff here because I'm going to put it on top of texture. And you'll notice that it won't show up. It won't show up because, well, actually it should show up here. This is not showing. Sorry, I actually did it wrong. As you can see, I put it underneath the texture so it doesn't show. I have to put it on top of the texture. Here it is. I'm going to scale it up, and it fits nicely. It's a nice landscape. You'll notice that some of them have this ink. It can be an ink 9, ink 7, it doesn't matter. These are just, I'm just going to double click in so you know what these are. These are just transitions of inks that you can use or you cannot use. You decide. Basically how these inks do, they use what we call a matte transition. So they're not doing anything now, but if you activate this in the track matte, Luma inverted, the picture doesn't have anything, and then it just shows up gradually. So that's basically how the track mattes work. You can add a track matte of these, for example, in photo frame A6. It doesn't have one, but if you want, you can just go here to the ink bleeds, inks. Well, not this one, sorry. Effects and transitions. We have these inks. You can just, I'm just going to drag number 1. You can drag it on top of your picture right over there, and just scale it up so it's nice and fills up the picture, right? It just has to fill this part here, and it does this. So it's covering your picture, right? So once again, I told you, just go back to your picture, select the Luma matte inverted, and it will work as I explained. Okay, like I said, in this template, I have given some extra options, and it's a bit more than your basic dummy tutorial or dummy projects. So I've given you more options for you to work for. That's why I'm going through the tutorials with all this detail. Okay, once again, so we've done that with a photo. Just in case you're wondering, oh, just like to add some sticky tape or some clips or some stuff onto this. I've got these page elements. I've got some, for example, stamps and tapes and clips. You've got these corners where you can just drag it on top. And keep in mind, any of these effects that you're going to put here, these page elements, you can just go rotation and just rotate this to position you want. I'm just going to put one so you can understand, so it can just fit there snug. If you want, you can just duplicate that, Control D, or go to Edit, Copy, and Edit, Paste. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not going to explain how to work with After Effects completely, so I can just put these in the corner like that. I'm not being really rigorous with rotations because this is just a tutorial. Paper clips, you can just grab whatever paper clips I have here, and keep in mind these are all over the photo PNGs and the stencils, so they're not cut, because if you put them underneath the stencil, they're going to get cut. Okay, these are just extras so you can mix up pictures if you want to add a little bit more zing to them or whatever. So I've got a few paper clips here that can work. You want to put a clip there, or, well, basically if you're more experienced with After Effects and you want to play a bit more, I give you these options. It's paper clips and stuff. So this won't affect the picture at all. It'll just look like that, okay? And tape, we have a lot of tape here, so these tapes can just scale them up. You can just put them in the corners as if you're gluing them to the books, and this will just go wild and use these as you want. You can mix them up. I've done these already for the preview videos, so you don't have to do them, but if you want to mix those up a bit more, that's why I'm explaining these. Plus, if you have a tape, and we're just going to put another one here, one of these, they're perfect to put like little texts and notes. I'm just going to rotate this one a bit, 180, so it just gives me a larger. You can scale these a bit more like that. You can spend the time you want with these. Okay, I'm just deselecting this, and you can just press text and any text. Just scale that up, and you can just put any text you want here. The Polaroids already have the space here, so you can just use that space, but other photos don't. So if you want to use the tapes to actually add text to your pictures, go ahead. Some of them have text, some of them don't have text, so I'm just explaining this so you can add text to the ones that I've already put if you want. So that's basically, and choose a nice font. I've already added couple of fonts to the list that I use for this template. You just need to download, they're free, and you can just download those and install those and just use whatever font you want for any text you want. So basically this is how you can edit your photos in general. Let me just check some notes. Okay. This is basically how you can edit photos. Now, as for the photos that I've used in this template from the beginning, all these scenes have already pictures, already frames ready for you to use. So what you can do is just go into the Edit Me, And keep in mind, know which part of the project you're working in, because this is page 1 and 2, which is repeated here, so you can actually see the animations, page 1 and 2. And if you have any, just go into your edit me pages 1 and 2. And as you can see, the pages are right here, and the photos are at your disposal here, or they're at your disposal here. You can just like photo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Or you can just double click here and you'll be inside the photo. As you can see, this one already has a couple of corners that I've added. It already has a text that you can add, or you can edit, double click the text to edit, or just turn those off. If you don't like the corners, turn those off. You want to put some tape, just like I've explained in the previous explanation. You can just add stuff. As for the picture, you just have to drag the picture, like I said, and then over the texture. It has an ink, like I've mentioned. So if you don't want to use it, you don't have to do anything else. The picture is ready to be shown. If you want to use the ink, just go to the None, Luma Inverted Map, and you will see that it starts already. Keep in mind, these inks that I have used here, they are already put in the right position, so when the camera goes from one picture to another, the transition works when the camera arrives at that picture. So, like I said, it's a little bit more complex when it comes to explaining how these things are. If you want to edit, create new pictures or new pages, but this is basically what's happening with these scenes. Hold on, let me just check my notes here again. Okay, well, basically when it comes to photos and videos and that kind of stuff, I'm just going to click photo 2, so you can just, I'm going to drag the same picture on top here, so you know what I mean. I'm just going to go to the picture, Luma Inverted, and you can see here, nothing happens until about here. That's when it starts. That's when the camera is actually moving. If you're going to use the preview elements that I've already created, you don't have to worry about these. They're already working at the right time. But if for a more advanced After Effects users, if you want to edit big time, changing scenes and changing the times in the books and times in the pages, keep in mind, if you're going to use these inks, keep in mind that sometimes they will be working out of sync with your camera, okay? But that is just something that you need to know if you're going to do that. If you're not going to do that, you're fine. So if your basic knowledge of After Effects is what you want to use, and you don't want to do too many complicated things, you don't need to worry about this. As for in the Edit Me folder, we also have a couple of texts. We have texts. That's all about, what I just explained was all about the photos. You don't have to worry anymore about how to edit photos, except for the more experienced After Effects users. I'm going to make a tutorial of how to create your own pages and how to animate your own camera for those. As for the text, we have here the end text, which is the end, which is that text that shows right in the book. Last page, the end, you can just double click and edit that. The Bon Voyage, which is the last, it's animated, so you just have to click somewhere over here to see the Bon Voyage. You can just double click the text and edit that. Intro logo, I've created a logo for the intro, right? So this is basically what it does. It just shows up, bounces, and it's animated, and it's got all these. If you want to use this logo, feel free, go ahead. To edit these texts, we got the intro text here, that's by Ultinato, which shows at the bottom. Travel journal, which is this one, and the vintage. I'm just going to click on the vintage. It's already pre-animated on the outside, so you can just double click this and just edit that text. If you don't want to use any of these, you just go to your intro logo. If you don't want to use any of these, you can just turn all of these off or just delete them. It's up to you, and you can just insert your own logo here and it'll show up in the beginning of the movie. It'll just show up here, static with the beginning of the movie. Okay. As for the texts, that's all you need to know. Some pictures actually have texts in them, like I said, some photos. So keep in mind if you want to edit some of those. Plus, there are also some pages. I'm not sure exactly which pages now, but there are pages that already have some texts included. I think it's, let me just check. I don't think it's this one. Sorry, it's a lot of stuff. Page 3 and 4 maybe. I think page, yeah, they have a text right over there. As you can see, it's right here selected, so you can just edit that text if you want. As for photos and text edits, that's all you need to know. I'll see you again now on how to edit your maps.